So how can you make £1 million for your children with just £150 a month? Many people who work 9 to 5s, or if you're a doctor like me, 12 to 12s, or who have small businesses, think that wealth and large amounts of money are not for them, that they're for the Jeff Bezos of the world, or they're for Elon Musk. But I'm here to tell you that that's not true. And I'm going to show you in this video and dissect two of the greatest long-term investment vehicles that you can use for your child to ensure that they are set up for retirement, and also when they graduate or when they're about to go into university or into adulthood. By the end of this video, you will be able to understand what the tax implications are, the tax savings, how much you can put into a junior ISA, how much you can put into a junior SIPP, which one to choose between, how to set it up. Essentially, by the end of this video, you will be able to set up your child for life. And your child doesn't even have to be born yet. But if your child is born, time is against you, time is running out, so make sure you watch this video all the way through until the end. So right, let's get straight into it. Whether you've got a nephew, whether you've got a niece, whether you've got children already, it doesn't matter. A junior ISA is a junior investment savings account that you can set up for your child. Now, this does need to be set up by the parent or legal guardian, but anyone can contribute to it. So aunties, uncles, grandmas, colleagues, anyone can contribute to that junior ISA. The maximum amount that can be contributed is £9,000 in a year, or £750 per month. And that money can be held in cash, so you can have a cash ISA. And a cash ISA just means you simply deposit the money into the account. There's a fixed savings rate, and it accumulates over the 18 years that the money is in the account. Now, that is a very safe, stable way of growing money for your child. But as you would have seen from some of my other videos, and if you haven't watched my other videos, I suggest that you do, inflation is always fighting against your money. With time, there's inflation. As you know, £100 today is not worth what £100 was worth 18 years ago. And that will be the same in the future. And so 3% or 4%, whatever the rates are for the junior ISA at the time you put in the cash ISA, tend to be much lower. On the other hand, you could put it in a stocks and shares ISA. And that means you have more opportunity for growth. So you can put it into whatever investment vehicle you use now. Now, if you don't use investment vehicles, I'll break it down for you. If, for example, you want to invest into a tracker or index fund, I'll have a video explaining what that is if this all sounds like jargon to you. I have a whole series on breaking down terminologies. Check it out. It's in my short section. Make sure you subscribe so you get updates about that as well. So if you want to invest that money, you can either do individual shares, which is high risk but high potential growth, or you could do it in a stable, proven ETF or index fund tracker, something like the S&P 500 or the FTSE 100, whatever you feel comfortable with. And that will give you, probably rates between 6 to 10% year on year. So those are the two options for you. With a junior ISA, you can put into up to £9,000 a year or £750 a month if you want to break it down that way. You can have it in cash, or you can have it in stocks and shares where it's growing for you. It's being invested and it's growing and escalating each year. And at the age of 18, your child can withdraw that money and they can use it for uni, they can use it for whatever they want. They can go on holiday if they want. They can use it to buy a house. Whatever they want to use it for, they can use it for. Now, there's no capital gains tax. There's no tax deductions on any interest that you get, as in your child. When the money is in the account, you put the money in and it technically belongs to the child, but they can only access it when they are 18. Now onto a junior SIPP. A junior SIPP is a self-invested personal pension, but for children. So it's a pension plan, but for children. It's a bit different to a junior ISA in that you cannot take it out at the age of 18. You have to wait until you're 55 years old. But think about it, a child can have a pension before they can even spell the word pension. That means they have the advantage of time. They have the advantage of being born and having money working for them from the day that they're born, or from the day that you decide to put money into their SIPP for them. Now let me tell you how it works. I will tell you how it works. But before that, If you're new here, I'm Dr. Nix, and I enjoy breaking down the financial terminologies and getting people like myself who are 9-to-5ers who go to work to become financially literate. I think it's very important that we understand how money can work for us, and so we can live a more fulfilled life. If you know someone that will benefit from this, please do share it with them. Make sure you subscribe. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up down below, and make sure you're subscribed so you get the updates when my next videos come out. And also, if you have any questions, you can just write them below and I'll get to them eventually. Now, back to the matter, Junior SIPPs. So from the day your child is born, or from the time that they have a national insurance number, you can invest on their behalf. And how that works is you go onto AJ Bell or Vanguard or Hargreaves Lansdown or Fidelity, wherever you choose, set up this SIPP for them. You know, I'm not a financial advisor, but I would advise to use a, steady ETF or market index fund, such as your Vanguard ETFs, track the S&P 500 or track the NASDAQ 100. Whatever you choose, just pick something as a stocks and shares pension fund, right? And you basically, let me give you a worked example. Let's say you put in £80 a month, right, into your child's SIPP. The government will give you 20% because that is part of the benefit of it. They will give you 20% up to a maximum of, the max you can put each year is 2,800 and something, which works out to about £240 a month. To make it simple, the max you can put in is £240 a month. Now, let's say you put in £80 a month. The government give you another £20. So you have £100 every month from age 0 until they're 18. If we look at the average return, which is between 6 to 10%, so let's say 7%, the average return is about 7%. Right, now look at this worked example. £80 per month when your child is born. The government tops it up with £20, that equals £100 monthly. You do this until they're about 18. It's in a stable ETF, like I said, e.g. the S&P 500. Once they hit 18, you leave that money in there until they're 55. So that means you have 37 years of compounding at a rate of 7%. At 55, your child will have a total of £568,000 to retire on. And the amount that you would have put in would only be £17,000 from the time that they were 0 to the time that they're 18. That amount would be £17,000, and they'd retire with £500,000. Mind blown, right? Now, I said to you that you could invest and get £1 million. So why am I talking about £500,000? Well, if you increase that amount and you put £150, and the government matched that with 20%, and so you're putting in £180 a month, that figure goes up to £1 million when they retire. And you would have only put in just over 30k, and your child gets to retire with £1 million. So which one is better for your child? You decide. Or a junior SIPP? Well, let's look at some of the pros and cons. With a junior ISA, the pros are that you can put up to £9,000 each year. You can have a cash or a stocks and shares ISA, or both, but you can only have it with one provider. The third benefit is that they can remove it once they're 18 years old. Cons are the government doesn't put in any extra money, and if you have a stocks and shares ISA, that could go down as well as up. It doesn't always go all the way up, but most oftentimes it does. Now, if you look at the junior SIPP, the benefits of it are that you have an incredible amount of time to compound your money year after year, 55 years of compounding, and you get to end up as a millionaire afterwards, that all things being equal at an average rate of 7%. The disadvantages of a junior SIPP are that you cannot remove the money when you're 18 years old, and so if they wanted to buy a house or travel the world or pay for their education, they probably won't be able to do that from those funds. But they will retire healthily. So what should you do? Well, it depends on your situation. How many children do you have? What is your disposable income? So it is a decision for you to make on what is best in your situation. If you do have enough money, it would make sense to probably do a bit of both. Therefore, you're hedging your risks and also getting the benefits of both programs or both investment vehicles. Now, a common question that people ask me is, where should I invest it? And my answer is really simple. Invest it where you can gain access. So if it is easier for you to use Vanguard, use Vanguard. If it's easier for you to use AJ Bell, use AJ Bell. If it's easier for you to use Fidelity, use Fidelity. I mean, just use whatever you can get hold of. The point is, start today. Now, I know if some of you are really going to press me for a recommendation. I'm not getting paid for this, but if I have to be pushed to recommend, I would say Vanguard or Fidelity to start with your Junior ISA and your Junior SIPP. And also, you can get your aunties and uncles of your children to pay in. And if you don't have children yet, you can just have this in mind so that by the time you do have your child, they have that advantage. If you have children already and you haven't started doing this, I implore you, think about it, have a listen, have a read up. I will write some things in the description to make it a bit clearer for you. You can sign up to my newsletter if you prefer written form content. That's also in the description. And if there's any questions that you have about this, please let me know. Write it down in the description below. Like I said, like this video if you enjoyed it. I have other videos for adults, for adult investing, and for making the most of your money, for breaking down terminologies for other 9-to-5ers like myself. Well, I'm a 12 to 12, whereas I'm a doctor, but you get the picture. So how do you get started? Well, I'm going to post some links in the description as well, so you have no excuse. You can start today. And like I said, if you like this video, make sure you do subscribe. But, you know, the point of this video is to say that you can actually set your children up for financial success with such a low barrier to entry. £80, and they'll have $500,000 by the time that they're ready to retire. It's a no-brainer if you ask me. Anyway, see you on the next video. I'm Dr. Nix.